Championship Sunday here on Mic Drop Sports, and the NFL leading into this big championship game here, or championship weekend, as the NFC, AFC figure out who is going to be the representatives inside of the playoff or inside of the Super Bowl. So it's definitely a big, monumental day for a couple clubs here. Well, four teams in pursuit of what is going on. What's up, Matt? What's up, Anger? Yes, it is big, my friends. Very, very big, man. And it's just going to be crazy. Very crazy today. Eagles versus the Commanders, and the Chiefs versus the Bills. Just big, big, big day, man. And we're going to dive into this first matchup that is coming on here. I am going to bring that up. I do want to bring that up. But make sure you guys are double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for me. I truly appreciate it. If you do so, we will do that. Hold on, guys. Let me get into this. I do want to bring that up, though, so I have it. Yes, Joel, it is game time, and that is going to be pretty cool games, I think, today. I think it's going to be definitely some big-time matchups for sure. I think that these games will be really, really good. What's up, Steve Winters? It does, my friend. It does suck. But, you know, hey, it's football. We're gonna enjoy it nonetheless here. This one, though, first matchup versus the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles and the 12-5 Washington Commanders. A lot of fanfare with this one. There is a lot in this game, man. Jaden Daniels, a guy that's a little bit better in the pass game so far this season than a guy like Jalen Hurts. You're looking at Jaden Daniels. He's about 3,600 yards, almost 3,600 yards in passing, 2,900 and some, I believe, for Jalen Hurts. So that's the story at the quarterback spot. But you really, if you're the Eagles, you got to run the ball, man. You got to run the shit out of the football. You cannot afford not to run the shit out of the football, man. Saquon Barkley's got to be your guy all game long. What'd you say, Ingram? I'm sorry about last night's stream. I didn't know I couldn't say things about. Yeah, don't say things about politics, and don't argue back and forth with some of the people, especially the OGs in the channel that have been here for a very long time. Don't argue with them, guys, please. I appreciate it. But we're going to dive in here, though. Again, guys, run if you are the Philadelphia Eagles today. I'm doing my stream a little early. I got my basketball game, so I'll give some free advertising to the people that sponsor our team. Their kid plays on my team, Chunky's Pizza. I believe it's in Fairmont. So I'll give you guys, the Angautis, a little shout out there, a little free promo for them. But yeah, you're looking at the Eagles team, or this Eagles team, and you say to yourself, how do they win this ball game? It's not through the arm of Jalen Hurts, guys. It's through Saquon Barkley. The Washington Commanders, I believe, it was about 7.3 yards per carry against the Lions is what that defense was giving up. But the Washington Commanders defense did something that was special. They had 5 takeaways, and they weren't that team during the regular season. They didn't have that kind of takeaway power. And then, you know, they find themselves in that Lions game, and they were able to secure 5 takeaways, 2 sacks. They recorded a safety. Both safeties on the Washington Commanders football team had interceptions, and that is something that has to be really encouraging for the Washington Commanders as they move into this football game, because they know if they can make Philadelphia one-dimensional, yes, Saquon Barkley will get his. However, you are limiting what they can do offensively, which gives a guy like Jaden Daniels, who perhaps can get through the air and get them moving a little bit in terms of the pass game, to maybe possibly outpace the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, the Eagles have to have their game plan of controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the ball, time of possession with Saquon, a guy that averaged, 5.8 yards per carry. I believe he had like 13, 14 touchdowns in 2024. A guy that was just absolutely stellar. But if you can limit the Philadelphia Eagles and really keep them and make them one-dimensional, not allow Devontae Smith, not allow A.J. Brown to get moving here in the championship game. I think that definitely plays into your favor. And I know a lot of people that are Washington Commanders fans don't want to see Philadelphia and Saquon Barkley have a lot of success. But I think if you limit the Philadelphia Eagles' success on offense to a guy just to Saquon Barkley, I think you are definitely opening it up for some big things if you are Washington. Washington. But we will dive into this game a little bit further here, man. We will definitely do that. Let me bring up the chat. What's up, Armin? That's all right. Steve Winters, Armin says, hello to the best YouTube channel in the universe. Thank you. Appreciate that. Make sure to double tapping that screen, guys. I truly appreciate it. Again, we're going early today. I have two people on my basketball, though, team. One guy that coaches with me, Boone. You've seen him the other night. He gave a super chat, actually. He roots for the Washington Commanders, and a family, both of their kids play on my basketball team. Their family's big Eagles fans, so this game is big for them, and we got a game at 6 p.m., so it's going to suck a little bit for them to miss maybe a little bit of that game. So maybe I might not have a basketball team. They might all be glued to the television today. Armin, what is your score prediction for the Chiefs-Bills matchup? I gave it last night, 24-21. I believe the Bills win that ball game. I think the Bills are this is their year, guys. If they have a chance to capture a Lombardi trophy, the time is now for the Buffalo Bills. They are a real solid football team, I think, top to bottom. I don't think they really lack in any one category. I just think that they are a solid, well-rounded group. I do think that of Kansas City also. Kansas City's defense is stellar and stout. But I believe that this Bills offense is going to put a show on tonight in Kansas City. I believe that this is the time for Josh Allen to really take that next step in becoming one of the league's best quarterbacks. NFL app, Jason, you should download the NFL app on your phone. It gives you notifications for information you need on teams. It's great. Yeah, I have so many apps. I never download them. I have so many apps. I hate to download more. I just look them up before I come on the show. I tried, and honestly, too, I try to go off the top of my head more. I feel like if I have something that's giving me like everything, it like weakens me a little bit, because then I won't go research. Then I won't try to remember shit. So I try to make it as hard on myself as possible. I know that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I try to make it as hard on myself as possible to make myself have to remember some things. Steve Winters, Eagles center not playing. They're putting Dickerson at center. Yeah, and that's a big one when you're talking about run game and you're talking about how the Eagles are going to be effective inside of a pass game. This is going to be a high motor or a high intensity type environment, man. And I know it's at home and that's their best case scenario, but still, this is going to be a very high intensity game, and that could cause definite issues. Definitely could. We did that. Joel says Jalen Hurts being hurt could really change this game. Yeah, I don't believe Jalen Hurts to be 100% healthy at all. I believe Jalen Hurts definitely being nicked up is going to be a problem. And that's really why last night I do think the Eagles are going to probably win this game. If I had to really bet on it, if I'm betting money on it, I'm probably going to go with the Eagles because you got the spread and all that shit. So I probably lean more toward the Eagles in that aspect. But however, I believe that Jaden Daniels and this football team in Washington are a special group, and I think that they're going to be able to really put some pressure on you. Look at the two matchups so far this season. With the Commanders and the Eagles. You see the Eagles take that first matchup, and then the Commanders storm back in a shootout and take that second matchup after Jalen Hurts exits early in that ball game. Kenny Kittenmitten's filling in for Jalen Hurts in that game, but the first matchup wasn't a blowout, 26-18. Both teams at full strength in that game, and I think that game is the one that tells the tale about this one that you can put the most stock into. However, you look at how the Commanders have progressed. Again, that defense has gotten a lot better here in the playoffs, and that's what you're looking for if you're a team. You want your team to start really hitting its stride come week 18, 19, when they enter those playoffs. You want that stride to be started to really, really be lived out. You're living out your potential, and I believe that the Commanders are doing just that right now. And I think offensively, they're no slouch, man. What's up, Sean? What's up, dude? I'm saying grilled cheese. Who's your favorite NFC team, NFL team? Steelers, man. I don't have an NFC team that I think is a favorite. I only like one team. I only root for one team. I can't do that multiple team stuff. Some people can. Some people like to do the multiple team. They can root for several teams. I can't. I'm a diehard to the end, man. I can talk about any team, but if it comes down to my fandom, it's definitely just with the Steelers, and I believe that that's what gives me a little bit of an impartial way of talking about these games that the team I root for isn't involved in. So I think that gives me a little bit of a different perspective. Drake Smith, Bills only had one receiver over 16 yards receiving last week. I would bet on Chiefs along with Cook over receiving or receptions. Allen's gonna be a check down king after they shut Shakir down. We'll see. We'll see. I don't believe that this game's going to be just a Kansas City Chief domination fest. I don't believe that Kansas City is just that much better than the Buffalo Bills. The Bills beat them already once this season. The one thing, again, about the Chiefs is they have Patrick Mahomes. They have a guy that can find ways to win. Now let's see if Josh Allen can take that next step. But if I'm looking at this game from an outsider's perspective and I'm not being a guy that's a fan of either team, I'm going to tell you, I think the Bills have the edge in this matchup. The only reason I think the Chiefs might win is because they're at home and they have Patrick Mahomes. That gives them a chance every week. But again, I believe it's 24-21. I think it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. Washington going down the field right now. Yes, we will bring that game up here for sure. Right now, you have 11 plays, 39 yards for the Washington Commanders. 10:58. Washington 1st and 10 at the Philadelphia 36. Jaden Daniels making the pass to Zacchaeus to the right for 5-yard gain. That was tackled by Zach Bond. So the game is moving here. Jaden Daniels also had a completion to Zach Ertz in that game, or in the game so far. Brian Robinson Jr. rushed to the right for a 2-yard gain, tackled by Milton Wilson. It's a 2nd and 5 right now for Washington, deep inside Philadelphia territory. So this game is definitely shaping up early to be something special. I'm telling you guys. But definitely, guys, I need you guys to double tap that screen, hit that like button for me. I'll do my best in the chat. I am still trying to watch these games as we move through here and trying to give you guys some updates and keep it updated as we are going through here on the live stream. 9:55 remaining in the first. Jaden Daniels incomplete pass to the left intended for Zacchaeus. It is a 3rd and 3 at the Philadelphia 29-yard line right now. Oh, wait, 4th and 2 at the Philadelphia 28. Sorry, I was looking at something else. So 13 plays, 41 yards right now for the Washington Commanders. So I don't have the big TV up here in my studio, which I think I'm going to bring it and put it in here, man. That would be something that I want to do, I think, to add to the studio. I got this TV that's here, but it's more my computer monitor with stats and everything like that. So that's what I got going on. Commanders are playing aggressively, and that's what it takes to win big games. Good for Washington. Yeah, exactly. And that's where I thought the Steelers went wrong this year. You know, you never came out and you were never the aggressor. You know what I mean? And that's what does take to win games. You got to be that aggressive team. And if you're not, you're just really handicapping yourself in these big moments, because teams that come out and they're ultra aggressive and they're not living inside of their fears, that they are doing whatever it takes in order to be successful, that's the type of team you're looking for. All right, guys, let's keep going here. Let's see what happens. See here. Still 2nd and 9 up. 2nd and 9 at the Philadelphia 22 for Washington right now. Oh, thanks, Aiden Jacobs. We don't care about that draft aid. If Josh Allen gets beat, does that make him the same as Lamar Jackson? Yeah, you could probably put him in that category. Definitely, Daniel, to be honest. Now that I think about it, for sure. A guy that's not winning the big games, that puts you in that category, making the big money. And if you don't get over the hump and you don't win the big games, then what good are you? So you're definitely right, Daniel. Good to see you, man. That's 2 fourth down plays they just got. Yeah, that's pretty big, man. 3rd and 9 at the Philadelphia 22 right now for them. Drake Smith, Bills defense was exposed last week, and Mahomes is the best quarterback to pick apart a defense. So almost even money for Mahomes to win in a playoff game doesn't get easier. I, Drake, I just can't get on board with. I think that the Chiefs are going to totally dominate. Again, I can see why that you think that they are, and I can see why that they would for sure. But I got to say this, man: the Bills are a good football team, and to discount them in any way and to sit here and say they got exposed, I don't think they got exposed. Matchups are matchups each and every week. They're different each and every week, and you got to look at how each team matches up against each other. That is the key. You know, you got to look and see how these matchups are taking place and unfolding each and every single week, man. All right, guys, we got to light that like button up here so we can get sent out into that YouTube algorithm. We are way lower on viewers than we normally are. 3-0 Washington early in the game. A lot of clock was ate up there, guys. 6:59 total drive. 18 plays, 54 yards, 6 minutes, and 59 seconds. But again, guys, we need to double tap that screen, hit that like button, send us out into the algorithm. We are a little bit behind. We don't normally stream at this time of day. But again, I got a basketball game here in a little bit, so I wanted to get the stream in, and I didn't want to have to come home and do it late. And I wanted to watch Chiefs-Bills game too. So again, double tap that screen, send us out there, get those likes up here as we are getting moving here. I'll stream for a little bit here. I normally don't do any of these like game time streams, but we'll give it a try here. I think the Ravens try to take Ibuke or Jeremiah Smith or that Bulldogs linebacker or the Notre Dame player. I forgot about his name. Yeah, guys, we can all sit here and act like, you know, we all know who they're going to pick, or we all can speculate who they're going to pick. And we can do it for the Steelers. We can do it for the Ravens. We can do it for everybody. But, man, until the draft starts to unfold, nobody truly knows. That's why these Mel Kipers and shit of the world are highly inaccurate, because until the draft starts to unfold, you really don't know what's going to happen. Because if you're a team that does things the right way and drafts best player available, and not doing the need thing, that's what guys like Mel Kiper focus on. They look at need. They look at team needs, and then they say to themselves, all right, they got to get this player. They got to get this player. They got to get that player. That's not how you draft in these drafts. You are screwing yourself if you do it. And that's what the Steelers have been doing. That's why they've had some of the first round picks that they've had. Najee Harris, in my eyes, is a failure. Terrell Edmonds, failure. Guys, it's just, yeah, you can't do it that way. You can't reach, man. You cannot reach due to position. You have to take best player available, point blank, period. And if you don't do that, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. So let's check the time and the score here in the game. Again, first quarter, 3-0 Washington on a nice drive, taking up almost 7 minutes in that first quarter, man. What a big drive. That's big, man. That's what you're looking for. Steve Winters, Washington just kicked a 3. Inger thought Zane Gonzalez and his shitty self was going to miss. Tyler Helton, what's up? I have respect to you, OG. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you, man. All right, guys, I need more of you to hit that like button. Double tap that screen. It's super simple. It's super free. I don't know where he been, man. He went off the map there for a little bit. He was getting married and stuff like that and doing all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, he kind of took a break. So I went back to doing my old thing. So this is where we are, man. Back in action. Mark Malone, I condone reaching for a quarterback if you have to. You have to take all the risk until you hit on one. I can vibe with that one, maybe. Sadly, though, some of these guys, I feel like you can really just see through a lot of these quarterbacks, man. I don't know. Maybe I just feel like I can for some reason. I don't know why. I can just see it in their throwing motion and the way they approach the game. I just don't. Some of these things don't translate to the NFL. level. Sadly, though, here's the case. The NFL is dumbing down their system so much in order to just get these quarterbacks in and not have such a learning curve because they're taking such high value draft capital to get a guy in the first round, and try to get him on the field as quickly as possible. And I believe that maybe you can get away with some of these running backs at the quarterback position. You can win some games inside of the regular season. You're not going to win championships, but you'll be okay. Maybe you do that, you find one of those guys, and then you search continually for a real quarterback, a real pocket passer, a guy that has athleticism that can pass from the pocket, a guy like Jaden Daniels, a guy that's who I'd be looking for. Let's keep going. Nick was a guy that used to stream with us. The Steelers drafted Bush. Remember when Shazier got hurt? He was a bust. Yeah, they searched and searched and searched, and they definitely trading up to get a guy like Devin Bush was a big mistake. They got sloppy seconds in that draft. But hey, we got a score alert right now. 7:39 in the first quarter remaining. You have the Philadelphia Eagles on top, 7-3 right now after a touchdown. Saquon Barkley to the left for a 60-yard touchdown. Guys, that's what I told you had to be done by the Philadelphia Eagles. Run, run, run. It's the obvious thing, no doubt about it. It's the thing that is what has to be done, considering the Commanders gave up 7.9 yards per carry last week to the Detroit Lions, and that's where I felt like the Lions stumbled a little bit. I thought that you just needed to run the shit out of the football there. They had such great success, and instead of having 5 freaking turnovers, 2 interceptions, I believe, or something like that, even more than that. They had 5 takeaways total last week. They only had 7 interceptions, Washington, during the regular season. And, I think they had 3 in the Detroit game. The PAT was made by Jake Elliott for the Philadelphia Eagles. We are on a timeout, 7-3 again. Philadelphia leads after a big touchdown run from Saquon Barkley. Man, guys, maybe I'll never stream at this time ever again in my life. Maybe I'll never do it. Man, we are slipping on viewers. We usually average thousands of viewers through, and it is slow moving, man. And we've been going for 22 minutes already. So again, man, double tap that screen, hit that like button, send us out into the algorithm a little bit here, as we are trying to stream at a little bit of a different time, man. Definitely not successful in views as we normally are. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how at one time of the day you stream, you could get 7,000 viewers through. And then you stream at another time of the day and you'll be lucky to get a couple hundred. Like, that's kind of crazy. But hey, we're here, man. We're doing it up. The Steelers drafted Bush. We did that. Sean he was abducted by a woman. He's gone. Yes, Sean, that's true. He was abducted by a woman. Yeah, you don't draft him like Cleveland does. No, Jamie D. Harris was not a super player because the Pittsburgh didn't invest in offensive linemen in the past draft. I expect he will be a beast for another team. I don't know. Maybe you might be right, Jamie. Good to see you, man. You might be right. That might be the case. But for the Steelers, averaging less than 60 yards per game. And let's be honest, man, the offensive line hasn't been absolute dog shit. Najee Harris has his flaws also. I just really think that Najee just did not fit into that system this year at all. I felt like the line could have been better, especially on the edges, at the tackle position. Definitely just wasn't working. Just was not working for either side. Saquon, house call. Steve Winters, Barkley, yep, just broke one. Mark Malone, I'm okay with reaching in any round 2. But yeah, all for the guy that may be able to toss the pigskin around. Yeah, dude, I cannot get on board with these running backs at the quarterback position. I don't even like the way. I don't know. I love the pocket pass, man. I love a guy that can sit back there and whip it around. A guy that can control the defense and make a defense respect him so much by his ability to pass. I think that opens up so much in the run game. I think that opens just so much that you can do offensively. If you have a guy that's a real field general out there, can get up to that line of scrimmage, make things happen, make the proper calls, do all that good shit. What's up, bro, Barian? Daniel Warman, hey, Jason, I didn't realize Wilson was 5'10". Do you think a quarterback should be taller? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the real small guys. I'm not. I believe that, you and in the NFL, in my opinion, I think you got to be like 6'2", 6'3". I think that's where you're looking to get a guy. 6'1", you're pushing it. 6'2", 6'3", I think you can make do. I think you could still be really, really ultra athletic, really tall enough to be back there and make the throws that are necessary. I don't know. You're looking at Russell Wilson, and I think what the difference is with the shorter guys as opposed to the taller guys, those taller guys are 3 steps, and they are back there 10 yards, Those big, long step backs, those big, long strides, they're back there 7 to 10 yards, depending on how tall those guys are. A 3 to 5 step drop for them is massive. You look at Russell Wilson, he's probably taking a 7 to 10 step drop to get back there as far as they are, just by those inches. I mean, that's the way it seems. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It just seems like those guys that are super tall, they stride back there and they get back there far, man. Steelers family, do you remember the days the black and gold used to be represented regularly in the AFC Championship game? At least we haven't had a losing season, though, huh? Yeah, I miss those days of every year being there. And people want to knock Cowher and say, Cowher, he lost a bunch of AFC Championship games. At least he was there. Mike Tomlin's never there. Mike Tomlin doesn't get out of the first fucking round. That's what I say. It's like, who gives a shit? Like, people want to knock Bill Cowher. I feel like Bill Cowher was way better schematically than Tomlin is. I'm sorry. Maybe he isn't better than him. Maybe he allowed his coordinators to coordinate and trusted in people he hired, and maybe hired people that were more intelligent than him, so that, the team could have a fighting chance, and he didn't allow his ego to get in the way. And I have a video I'm going to post of Mike Tomlin's final speech to the team, final little conference to the team before they wrapped up for the year. And I shared it to Sean, and I got to tell you guys, I'm sorry, and maybe some of you have seen it. It was all about him. It was all about Mike Tomlin, all about how he feels, all about his work, all about what he likes. Everything was about Mike. And when you get like that, when you get to that point of your career that everything's about you and nothing else matters besides what you got going on, I think that's where you start to get catastrophic failure. And I think Mike Tomlin's at that point. I'm going to post that video. I'll post it today. That way, if some of you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and see it. All right, guys, I need you to double tap that screen. Send us out to that YouTube algorithm here, as this is a weird and wonky time. We don't normally stream at this time, so it's kind of weird that we don't have, a lot of viewers. So it's kind of odd. So send us out to that algorithm by double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us, sharing the show if you can. But again, hitting that like button is the easiest way to help us. But hey, man, we're still here having that good conversation. Let's keep going here. Want to make sure I'm up to date on the game here. Jaden Daniels passed to the Browns 6-yard game time. Brown fumbled, man. What? Oh my. So I guess we're trading winning seasons for playoff losses, pretty much, Steve. That's about where we're at. Yeah, we did that. So, Ryan Stanley, seriously, Cowher had literally a 50% AFC Championship appearance rate. What would we do to be in the top, or to be in the chip every other year? Man, dude, I would. I miss those days so much, Ryan. So much. Froggy Insider, what's up? Saquon cooked the Commanders. All that trash in the back. Do you think Baltimore Ravens would have more than 6 Super Bowls if they were in when Super Bowl was originated instead of 1993? No, I don't know. That's such a hard question because they were involved in it. The Baltimore Ravens fans and the Baltimore Ravens franchise seem to forget that they were the Cleveland Browns. They were involved and they didn't win. They didn't win Super Bowls, and they were around during that time. And they moved to Baltimore. They didn't just magically pop up in Baltimore as a fresh new team. That's not what the case was. They came from Cleveland. They are and were the Cleveland Browns. Yes, they're the Baltimore Ravens now, but when they were the Cleveland Browns, they were the same old Cleveland Browns. They've had way more success in Baltimore, definitely so. But when they came to Baltimore, they were moved and they were the Cleveland Browns. That's exactly what they were. So the answer to your question is no, because they were around. They didn't just pop up in 1993. Their franchise dates back to the beginning of the Cleveland Browns' history as their franchise. Because that's what they were. And the Cleveland Browns, when they came back to the league, that's when their history started again because they were actually a completely new franchise once again. Let's keep going. He was there with no QB2. Mark Malone, he was there. Yeah, it's over. Steve Winters, Washington just turned the ball. Mark Malone, Eagles, Pimp slapping the commies. Al Gore has no rhythm. I am certain of that. The algorithm does not have any rhythm, man. You're true to that, man. I'll have streams sometime, Ryan. Literally, that will have. We crushed it the other night, man. We had almost 8,000 views on our live stream, and then you'll go the very next night. I could put the same exact title, the same exact everything up the second night in a row if I wanted to, and it would be completely different ways that it sends it out into the algorithm. It's absolutely crazy. And two, what's weird is I put a lot of time into it. I stream a lot. I do a lot of content, and that's supposed to help you being consistent, doing a lot of content. And there is no rhyme or reason to it. I look at my analytics. I do all that stuff. I try to work in the times that I think are successful. Now, I've never done analytics for this time period, which is kind of smacking me in the face. I don't know. But we stream during the week at 3 o'clock for our show that we're trying to get off the ground. If I could ever get the time now to get it moving in the afternoon blitz, we had almost 3,000 for that show the first day. So again, there's no rhyme or reason to it. The Brobarian, his words were inspiring. I don't think it was about him. I think it's about the Steelers as a whole. And sometimes if we have a certain way of thinking about a person, it can be more negative. I can see what you're saying, Brobarian, absolutely. But I don't know. I really try. I may be blinded by the way I think about Mike. You may be absolutely right, no doubt about it. And I'm not discounting your comment at all, but I really try to take myself out of that emotional state when I'm looking and listening to things concerning the Steelers. And I know it's very difficult to do so. I don't know, man. I really feel like it was all about him. I don't feel like it was about anything because everything was about how he felt, about what he wanted to see, this, that. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt really, really selfish to me. I feel like when your team is reeling and hurting and the way that they came down the stretch, I feel like there could have been a better message delivered there. And I don't know. I'm not saying I have that answer because I don't. But I think that there could have been something more inspiring, more creative, instead of "I don't have the words" as your theme. That was his theme for the speech. I don't have the words, and I don't know. I feel like you should have the words because you're the head coach, and you're the guy that brings this stale, horrible brand of football each and every week without any type of adjustment. And I think maybe getting up there and apologizing to that group for your insubordinates, I believe maybe would have been better than what he did, than just saying, I don't have the words. I think you could have given them an explanation of why you didn't make changes at certain periods of time, why you didn't care to schematically be better each and every week, why you continue to harp on and brainwash your players that it's just all, we got to execute better. You're coming out with a youth football league game plan. I mean, You really, really are. And we have to really be honest about that. And that's what's scary to me about Mike Tomlin is that he really honestly, wholeheartedly believes that he is accurate and that he is right and that nothing else that anybody says it matters. And no matter what he sees on tape, he's going to go against that because that's not what he believes. And that's where I think it's a scary thing to have him as head coach because I don't think you're ever going to progress as a football team until he gets out of that egomaniac style of coaching. And again, I'm all for a disciplinarian, an authoritarian. That's what I want. But I don't think that's what he is. I think he is just a guy that's all words and no action. I really, truly believe that. And when he says, I love it when it's miserable, that doesn't mean you have to be miserable. That means you can go out there and change shit. You don't have to I love it when it's miserable. I don't know. I really didn't take his words the way maybe some of you did, but yeah, hopefully I'm wrong. Froggy Insider, if they were the Baltimore Ravens the entire time, there would be a lot more success. I don't know if you can say that, Froggy. I don't really think you could say that because they were the Baltimore Ravens. They were just named something different. They were the exact same franchise. They were. Froggy says score predictions. I did one 24-21 Chiefs or Bills over Chiefs. And last night, I can't remember what I said for the Eagles and Commanders game, but I picked Washington because I want to see Washington win. Let's go back and check on that game here. 14-3. Not looking good for the commies. Not looking good. Sorry, Coach Boone. Dan Bisnick, Browns were a lot better than the Steelers in the 80s. Bernie Kosar. They had a team, man, in the 80s. I'll give you that. They didn't win a Super Bowl. They didn't reach the mountaintop, so nothing impressive. They could be better than other average teams. That's okay. That's not impressive. New York Giants from Baby Bubba, 39-33 Washington. Steve Winters, Barkley just scored his second touchdown. Yeah, if they can't stop Barkley, if they repeat what they were doing, and it seems to be that right now, Steve, where the Commanders are repeating what they were doing in Detroit. If the Eagles are smart enough to just keep feeding Saquon Barkley, then they will demolish the Washington Commanders in stunning fashion. If the Commanders can't adjust to that, or if the Eagles start fucking up and just trying to throw the ball all the time, other than those two things happening, I think the Eagles are going to be fine. 34-32 Bills. That's from Dan. Mark Malone. I blame Rooney for it all. There's zero reason to keep Tomlin employed. I believe he has some reasons, but I just feel like Tomlin's just wearing those reasons thin, And again, if you're not going to change and if you're going to be ego driven as the head man, I just feel like that there's some I don't know. There's something going on there, man, with that dynamic between Rooney and Tomlin. There's some weird dynamic there. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it. But there is something, and we've talked about every situation. We've talked about the Rooney rule. We've talked about their relationship together. We've talked about Tomlin's non-losing season streak. We've talked about everything. We've talked about the time when Tomlin, won with Cowher's team. It wasn't a team Mike built. I know a lot of people don't like when I say that, and that's okay. I just still believe that Mike has yet to really be competitive in terms of a championship football team with a team he built. And that's not anything I want to be right about. I'm sick of Tomlin from Robert. Me too. Steelers need to keep Tomlin forever. That way the Ravens will forever beat them. Here's the thing, Froggy. The Ravens haven't beat them with Tomlin, though. You guys got to look at that record, man. The Ravens have only beat them 3 times, I believe, since 2020, maybe 4, if that. 3 times, and they play each other 2 times a year, guaranteed, if not 3 times. And to only have won less than 5 games, less than a few games, that's not good, even with Tomlin. You know what I mean? The Steelers beat themselves in that last Baltimore game. They changed their game plan. It was a simple thing that they did. Instead of the outside backers crashing on Lamar Jackson, they crashed on Derrick Henry. Instead of allowing Derrick Henry to be cleaned up and controlled by the line, by the defensive front, and those middle linebackers, they took and switched their game plan around a little bit, which I'm not sure why they did it, because what they were doing was effective against Lamar Jackson. And I think if you did those certain things, that's what beats Lamar. And I think they changed it up for no reason. I don't know why. What's up, Jose? We usually have a lot more people in here, Jose, and we're streaming at a different time, so that's probably why if you've just never seen us before. We're at a little bit of a different time frame. Froggy Insider, my grandfather, who is a Steelers fan, built a house when he was young in Northern Maryland. A lot later, Art Rooney got a house down the street from his house. Oh, that's sweet, man. Robert, bring back Cower. Jose, we did his. Mark Malone, well, Rooney could change it tomorrow, but he doesn't. Over and over and over again. Yeah, and I think that's where the Steelers fans are really upset. I really do. It's the consistency of the mediocrity. It's the continuation of the mediocrity. Down in, down out, game in, game out, year after year. And it's definitely, I blame him too, Mark. I blame the old bastard too. They will start beating them more the longer they keep Tomlin. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm not like Mike. I don't live in the hypothetical world. I don't live in the what ifs. I'm going to go with the reality, and we'll see what happens. One over on Jason. Oh my God, you got to see Commander's fake punt. Yeah, I have to watch it, man. Robert says I'm a Steelers fan since '74, and this is the least exciting time to be a fan. Same shit, different year. Yeah, it's tough to be a Steelers fan right now, man. It's tough to talk about the team, too, because you have all the people that are forever Steeler fans that no matter what you say about the Steelers, if you say anything that they're doing negatively, you're a bastard, you're wrong, they hate you. And then you have the section of the fan base that, are realists and they understand when things are wrong, they need to be fixed and they need to be changed. But man, there's two definitely vastly different halves of the Steelers fan base. And some Steelers fans just are so blinded by their fandom, man. It makes it hard to talk about the team sometimes. Wasn't Lamar hurt at that time? And they beat him twice last year, Inger. They beat him 2 times, man. They beat him twice. Both games. They beat him with Lamar, too. Kenny Mittens beat him. Kenny. You can't make excuses for the record, dude. The record is the record. You can say, you only beat us because of this. You only beat us because of that. You only did this because of this. You only did that because of this. That don't make no sense. The record is the record. It still doesn't matter, Inger. They beat him with Lamar. How many times? Lamar Jackson's only beat the Steelers twice. Twice. Or 3 times maybe. And he plays them twice a year, sometimes 3. That's not good for a $52 million a year quarterback. I'm just saying. The Steelers own the Ravens since 2020. Let's be honest about that. And I was getting to the point this season that I didn't even really feel it was a rivalry because the Ravens weren't winning any games. And that is the truth. That's no lie. I'm just telling the honest truth. It's not very exciting, man. This is my bonus room, Froggy. It's like literally just like a big room over my garage. Right now, I have a bunch of Christmas stuff that I've been taking down, boxing up, putting away, right? You don't have to be wrong. I'm just explaining. Ravens choke in the playoffs. Lamar chokes in the playoffs. And I feel like, dude, the fan base deserves better than that. You're paying that guy $52 million a year. I mean, and you can't win a big game. Does that make sense? That's the big thing. They might, and that may very well be, Froggy. Hoopside did it again. First round exit. Yeah, it sucks. Exactly. Excuses are for losers. And that's why I'm saying Steelers lost. They're bad. But the only thing that I'm going to say is, how do you fix it? That's not an excuse. So if you guys are talking about your team and you say, this was what's wrong, this is what's wrong, this is what they need to fix, this, in my opinion, those aren't excuses. Those are, you're trying to correct the issue. You're trying to talk about what they need. You're trying to see how your team could get better. Now, excuses is, hey, we beat you this day or you beat us that day, but this is the reason why. Those are excuses. All right, guys, we need you to double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here. Send us out into that algorithm. I'm not used to the chat being so slow and there only being so many people in here. I'm not used to that. That's so crazy. I haven't had that happen for a long time. Who should Pittsburgh draft? I haven't dove into that yet, man. I really haven't. I think Pittsburgh, again, should draft best player available on the board. I think that every team in the NFL should follow that motto, and I think that they would find themselves in a much more successful situation year in and year out. I think that that's what they have to do as any franchise. And I believe you find yourself in a hole when you reach for players. And Mark brought up earlier, like, hey, he'd be okay with reaching for a quarterback. And I've been thinking about that since he made that comment and we talked about it a little bit. I've been thinking about that. I don't know if I'm okay with reaching at all for any player, not even a quarterback. And I say it because why? Because I feel like if you start to reach at any time, that opens you up to feel comfortable with the reaching. And I think that maybe that would breed into your mind or sear into your mind that it's okay to draft for position as opposed to best player available. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that aspect. I don't know. And also, when you're reaching for these quarterbacks, if you do that, what Mark said, if you do that, then I wonder, do you really fuck your franchise over if you miss and you miss more than once? You miss several times. How much are you setting your franchise back over and over and over and over again? Or is the better question this? Is it okay to just miss on these quarterbacks? Because no matter if you have good drafts, no matter what you do, if you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to do anything anyway, so it doesn't matter until you find that guy. Is it that way? You hear what I'm saying, Mark? Is it that way? I don't know. I'm like just kind of kicking it around in my head of like how that would be. And yeah, you're right. It is a double-edged sword. And I don't know what the right answer is. I still stand by, I think the philosophy in my head is just best player available. And I think if they stay in that, I think that they'll be okay. Because like I just said, hey, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win anyway. But what if you do put together a good team and you are building through the years, and yes, you just don't have that quarterback, but there are those rare instances when you can catch a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning, somebody in the back half of their career, to where if they do get put with a good team, and I'm not saying Russ was that guy either, I'm just saying there are those instances where those types of quarterbacks are available to where perhaps you have the cap space to go out and make that type of move, and all of a sudden, instantly, you become really, really good, I don't know. I don't know what that answer is, man. I don't know. Ryan Stanley, who does the roster shortcomings fall on? Art Rooney, Mike T, Omar, previous front office, brain fart are the previous GM. It was Kevin Colbert. And I got to say, it's a combination of all the above, Ryan. I don't think that there's any real one clear-cut answer there. I can't blame Omar Khan because he hasn't been there long enough. He's only been through one draft. You know what I mean? So I have to give him time to fill in there and take some of that accountability. I have to give him 2-3 years before we start to see the Omar effect on this roster, I believe. I would put more of it right now on Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin, and the Rooneys. And again, I keep saying this, guys, and I think I'm accurate in this statement. I think it's very hard for anybody that would be the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike Tomlin as the head coach. And I say this why. I may be wrong too. I say this because I think Mike Tomlin has no clear-cut path, no clear-cut game plan, no real schematics to speak of in terms of any type of complexity. That it's very difficult for a general manager or scouting department to go out there and really put best player in those positions to fit that scheme. You know what I mean? I think it'd be really difficult as a scouting department to be underneath a guy like Mike Tomlin. Froggy says, would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson? Lamar Jackson, of course. At least you'll win regular season games. Alan Malone, Liverpool, UK, checking in. What's up, Alan? Good to see you, man. It's usually a lot more lively, Alan. I swear. We're in a little bit of a dead spell here. I'm kind of disappointed I'm disappointed in the algorithm today. Not our fans, but the algorithm not pushing us out there today. It's kind of crazy. We got to buy a couple lotto tickets a year, in my opinion. I'm down for that. I think too, though. I think that, like you're saying there, just take a gamble on a couple guys. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But what I think, though, on the years that you have minimal draft capital in terms of like you've traded off some picks and things of that nature, I think you got to be in a more conservative, best player available type approach in my eyes. That's just so you don't waste and miss on your limited amount of valuable cap space or draft capital. That's just my opinion there, but I'm down with that, taking a gamble for sure. Steve Winters, I understand you're supposed to address your needs in the draft, but you're also supposed to take best player available. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, like Mark had said up earlier in the chat. You know, it is a double-edged sword, and it's really difficult. And I know a lot of us sit here, including myself. You know, we feel like we have the answers, but every situation is going to be different each and every year, and every year there's going to be a different set of challenges that you have to overcome. And just when you think you have like a stellar offensive line, the injury bug hits and you find yourself in a deficit there again after spending years of high value draft capital and major resources to really secure that up and get it going. So you find yourself in those situations also. So it's just definitely very, very trying, man. And it's a very complex thing. And I think that definitely the Steelers, though, have found themselves in a major rut, and that's their problem right now. I just think they can't get out of their own way. Mark Malone, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting 2 QBs a year until we find one. I would. Yeah, I'd love to just have one, man. Whatever it would take, no doubt about it. I'd be game for it. Whatever it would take to find that guy, I'd be down for it. Like week 15, I said NFC champ Lions versus Eagles. He said no, not Vikings. I said nah, they ain't gonna do shit in the playoffs. I thought the Lions were gonna win it all. I thought the Lions were gonna make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're frauds. I just think they got caught, man. Matchups are everything, guys, and I try to tell everybody that. You can have a team that literally has been undefeated all year long. A team that hasn't lost a regular season game one all year long. But you know what? All of a sudden, they're playing a team that they hadn't played yet that year. And the matchup just don't match up. And that team may have 7 losses on their record. But they don't match up well against one another, and you end up losing. And that can definitely hurt you, man. And that can definitely happen. And I think that's what happened to the Lions. They just didn't match up well with the Commanders for some reason. What do you think will win next year's Super Bowl? What will be the matchup? Shit, man. I don't know. I got to see how the summer goes. It's too early. I predicted, though, the Steelers record. We gave our 2 early predictions, and I stuck with it all year, man. And I stuck with it throughout the summer and everything, and we were pretty spot on with that. We'll do that stuff in the summer, though. I'll give you more of that this summer. Ben or Terry, Lamar or Flacco? Ben and Terry. I would never take Flacco and Lamar over Ben Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw. Flacco won his Super Bowl 1. Uno. Ben won 2. Terry won 4. Ben played in 3. There's 7 Super Bowl appearances and one loss in between those two quarterbacks. You can't even put Lamar and Flacco in the same sentence as Ben and Terry. And that's not just because I'm a Steelers fan. That's just because it doesn't even make sense. Not even remotely close to making sense. Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger are champions. They're winners. And they're winners more than once. You know what I mean? I think the Ravens and the Vikings get in the Super Bowl if the Vikings bench Sam Darnold and keep J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to let the offseason unfold. Yeah, they threw when the Commanders were giving up over 7 yards a carry. I'm not sure why the Lions didn't capitalize on that. I would have just stayed in the run game. They weren't able to stop it. I would not. No, I would never have. I would way rather have Ben and Terry, without a doubt. Lamar Jackson can't get out of his own way. He can't. He's never won a big game ever. Not one big game. And the regular season shit don't count. A first round playoff win don't count. I'm talking AFC championship games, Super Bowls. Those are big games. College, I'm talking college football playoffs. I'm talking major bowl games. I'm talking, those types of things. And Lamar has never won any of that stuff. And I don't know if he's capable. I don't know if he knows how to get it done. And people wanted to pin that all on Mark Andrews. There was a pick and a fumble by Lamar in that game. Lamar got to be that leader, man. He can't make mistakes in the biggest games. And if he does, he really has to limit them. And when you have other players on your team make mistakes with it, that's when it becomes really a problem, On a 2-win playoff run, he's won a playoff game or two, but he has a losing record in the playoffs, and he's never won an AFC championship game, and he's never won a Super Bowl. Those are the big games that I'm talking about. These other games, dude, these games today and the Super Bowl are the only games that matter. They're the only big games in the league. That's my opinion. Because what are you playing this game for? Championships. That's it. That's it. And Lamar Jackson can't get one. He's not able. He's not capable. And I don't know why that is. I don't know. I got my reasons or my speculation, but he just hasn't. Yeah, he knows how to win the MVP. But that's a gifted award. I think the MVP award shouldn't be decided until the dust settles from the Super Bowl. And I say that why? Because the only two games that matter in this league are the conference championship game and the Super Bowl. Those are the only two games that matter. And I want to see what you're able to do through a playoff run. Just because you're a choke artist in the playoffs, but you have amazing regular seasons, that doesn't do anything for a franchise. That doesn't do anything for a fan base. That doesn't add to a legacy. Because when the dust settles and the smoke clears on Lamar Jackson's career, if he has never won an AFC championship game or an NFC championship game, never has appeared in a Super Bowl, he's going to be forgotten. He's just going to be another guy. He ain't going to go down as like one of the great ones. All this hype and all this bullshit about him now is for nothing. You know what I mean? Do you honestly think we have the right general manager? I do, Steve. I do think the Steelers have the right general manager. The Rams GM mentioned trading Matthew Stafford the other day. I think that's the wrong move, though. Yeah, but you got to look at where you're at with that quarterback, too. And that's the thing. Age, cap space, a contract on the books. There's a lot of things that got to come into play in that. Right or wrong, that's the thing, man. You got to take all those into account. Steve says, Jason, we did that. Roberta Campbell, what's up, Roberta? I wouldn't want Lamar as the Steelers quarterback. If I had to have him, I would. If I had to pick him over Russ, I would. If I had to have him over Justin, I would. But again, if I got a guy like Lamar, I would still constantly be looking for that next young stud, because I would know deep down in my heart that He's not going to be able to make it happen. He's not going to put Lombardi's in the trophy case. He's not going to put rings on your finger. He's just not. Eagles shanked a kick. Robert, should we keep Jay Warren and let Harris walk? Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, there's many Najee Harris apologists, and I get where they're coming from. I get where they're coming from about the offensive line, but there's got to be some blame on Najee too. Najee has to carry some of that burden too as a player. You know what I mean? And sadly, it is the coach's job to put him in the right spots, and that's why I harp so much on Tomlin. Because no matter who the coordinator's been, the results have been the same. I don't appreciate the fan base applauding Najee Harris's 1,000-yard seasons because this isn't years ago when they only played 14 games, 16 games. They play 17 games a season now. Average it out. It's below 60 yards a game. It's not good. What's up, Jason? My name's Jason. Eric Huff, let's go Bills Super Bowl. Here we go. Jimmy, I don't know what that is, buddy. Fire Tomlin, pin this comment. Pin that comment. All right. There ain't nobody else in here. I'll just pin it. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate you. All right, guys, we need you to double tap that screen, hit that like button, send us out into that YouTube algorithm as we are live here on Mike Drop Sports. Again, I apologize, going live at a little bit of a different time here today. We will update you right now on the NFC Championship game. It is 14-6. Philadelphia, the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 12-5 Washington Commanders with 8:49 remaining in the second quarter. Washington just took a timeout. Jaden Daniels rushed to the right for a 6-yard gain, tackled by Burke. So the action starting back up here as the Washington Commanders approach that 50-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. 2nd and 4 at the 50. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Jason. Chill guy too. I sub to you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, Chill. I do. I do think the Bills beat the Chiefs, man. I think the Bills beat them by just a little bit, but they'll beat them. All right, guys, I need you to double tap that screen for me. Send us out into that YouTube algorithm. This has probably been our lowest stream, man, of the year, I believe. Seems like it. I don't know. When we were doing that StreamYard shit, we were down low, man. And then when we came back to doing our lives on here on the YouTube app, straight through YouTube, it picked back up and got back up to normal, man. I was discouraged. I was about to quit the channel, man. It was just so discouraging on StreamYard because it was like, yeah, it just was not what I was used to. All right, guys, again, double tap that screen for me. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 30 likes here at least. We usually aim for 100. We have gotten 100 many times, so we always try to get 100 likes on the live stream. No, Inger, they got to keep Tomlin so we can keep beating them. How do you do the meeting on stream? What do you mean, do the meeting on stream? What do you mean, the meeting, Froggy? I'm not sure what you meant. I think Omar is a good GM. I do wish Art would step aside and let the children take over the franchise. I don't think Art has it in him to make hard decisions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there, Roberta, but it just something's a foul. They got to sign him first, Robert, and that's going to be the challenge. And if you're Justin Fields, what makes you want to come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers? You look at Tomlin and this coaching staff, and you know it's going to be an anemic offense. You know it's going to be an offense that is run, punt. That's what you're going to do. It's just, is that something as a quarterback you want to be involved in? Is that something you want to handcuff yourself to if you're Justin Fields? I don't know. What kind of money will they offer him? They got to bring him back first, and that's the real question, And then you look at a guy like Russell Wilson. Will he go with Pete Carroll to Las Vegas? I don't know. I don't think he's the answer for the Steelers, but it's going to be a tough one, man. I think Justin can and should come back. But, man, the Steelers got to really change. Touchdown, Washington. Jaden Daniels, too scary. Terry McLaurin down the middle of the field for a 36-yard touchdown pass. That was awesome. Absolutely awesome. A 5-play, 56-yard drive, 1 minute, 34 seconds off a laser beam from Jaden Daniels. Man, that's awesome. I told you guys, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a big one. We're almost winding down here in the second quarter. 7:05 remaining in the second. Nah, keep Tomlin from Dead's prods. Tomlin sucks, man. Like when the Steelers have a game, you go on call with that guy. Sean. I just set up I do a live on here. You have to have a certain amount of viewers though, or a certain amount of subscribers and watch hours before you can go live on YouTube. So I just add them. I make it and add them, and then do all that. Just invite him that way. It's not hard. It's like a StreamYard thing. Dez says, by the way, go Cowboys. Sleeping Lady TD and big eyebrows. Go Cowboys. Washington TD. I am disappointed with no changes. How can you bring everyone back and expect something different? That's from Craig. Yeah, you can't. You can't. It's insanity, Craig. Doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different result. It is the true 1,000% dictionary definition of insanity. All right, guys, I need 2 more of you to double tap that screen, get us up to 30 so we can keep on rocking here, getting the likes build up, stream for a little bit longer here. Scary Terry, yeah. My TV froze. I think if Fields gets an offer from a decent team, I think he leaves. I'm sure he has to feel uneasy about the Steelers. I would too, man. 14-12, no good on the 2-point conversion. Can you shout me out? Yeah, man, I read your comment already, Dez. Well, man, everybody check out Dez. Why don't you shout me out too, Dez? You got any subs? Shout me out to him. Almost want to start from scratch. That's from Robert. Tomlin sucks. Me too, man. Sometimes I feel like that too, Robert. I don't like when you go live with Sean because you don't read my messages. I read your messages all the time. Don't be a crybaby. I could see Fields going to the Browns. I could too, sleeping lady. Dude, I shout you out the whole damn show. You got a pinned comment on the show, dude. No, you just started? That's all right, man. I'll shout you out. Des Prods, man. Go hit him up, boys and girls. I know. I'm just messing. Oh, over an hour hurts me. No, you're all right, man. Craig, don't be surprised if Vikings go for Fields. I think that would be a great system for him. I do too, Craig. He would definitely fit well up there. I think Pickens needs to be traded while he's worth something. He's a complete cancer. He's a loafer. He's a guy that has superior athletic talent, but is never going to really realize that because I think he's going to self-sabotage. Did you see the Philly mayor say Eagles? No, I did not, Froggy. You're awesome, by the way. I love Pickens. I'd give him to you, man, down there in Dallas. Well, thank you, Inger. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. I've been going for almost 70 minutes. I got to get ready for my youth basketball game. Question. They say this is a weak quarterback class this year. I know the Steelers still need to find a quarterback, but should they hold off on drafting a quarterback with a high pick? Yeah, because with where they're picking, they're not going to be able to get one. There's very limited guys in this draft that makes sense, in my opinion. Yeah, I wouldn't waste the draft capital on picking a quarterback in this draft. I'd try to obtain a Justin Fields, and I said that the other night because I think of the way the quarterback landscape is right now. Yeah, they'll both lose. How can they both lose, Box in 94? All right, Robert, see you, man. I don't know. Pickens isn't someone we should rely on so much. Either trade him or get another wide receiver who's reliable and good. Yeah, I think so. It's all right, man. It's all right, Boxing 94. You can come here and talk with us. We talk all the time. All right, man. We'll be back. Maybe I'll stream again later because this one was very disappointing in terms of views. So maybe we'll stream later at our regular time and see how that works because now I'm kind of disappointed. But you guys made it fun. All you guys that stuck around in the stream today here at a weird time, you guys made it absolutely fun. You made it absolutely worthwhile. So definitely, I appreciate you guys so very much. So we'll be back tonight, man. We'll try for that 100 likes or 150 likes tonight, and we'll try to crush it tonight. I wish, Des. All right, guys. Thank you. I gotta go get ready for my youth basketball game. Go Chunky's Pizza. I'll see you guys later tonight. I'll stream again because we got to redeem ourselves here. All right, my friends. See you later. See you in a few hours. Peace.